Right, just want to talk to you about everyday items that could be employed as an improvised tool of opportunity or weapon of opportunity if the what you select has weapon attributes and weapon profile. So where I'm coming from is staying away from purpose-built weapons because of the perspective of you live in a country where you have been outlawed and forbidden to carry any tool of design as a purpose-built weapon that could aid you in your self-preservation. So any Commonwealth country has unlawfully taken away your right to arm yourself against armed enemies. And yet the current threat that you're seeing today involves multiple armed assailants attacking unarmed defenceless people in the street, and there's nobody off limits. So children, women should be off limits in any type of warfare. And yet we are seeing attacks on children, young children, as young as infants, and women, and defenceless people, men and women and elderly, being attacked in city centres, in public parks, in schools, in various other things. So just look at the attack in Dublin by some fucking lunatic with a machete that decides to attack children and women. Look at the attack in France, that which was near the French Alps, where a lunatic runs into a playground with a machete and attacks preschool children, preschool babies, and innocent defenceless women, right? So there is no one off limits, right? Women, children, babies, elderly, men of all Western cultured colours and creeds are a target for some element of the current threat that's out there, right? We are seeing attacks in the street, in shopping centres, multiple armed assailants attacking each other and attacking anyone that's in the way, or targeting defenceless people, unarmed people specifically, women, men, children, you name it. And yet, under Commonwealth law, we're not allowed to arm ourselves with anything that could aid our self-protection. So you've heard me rant about these things many times before. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is, well, if you ever find yourself in such a situation where you need a force multiplier, then knowing how to use what you might find around you could be a useful thing, right? So in most places, you will find elements of wood. You will find elements of stone or brick. You may even find elements of metal. So where I'm going with this, think about any point tool that's not a weapon by design, and any edged tool that's not a weapon by design. So in this case, a screwdriver and a pruning knife, right? That is non-lockable and less than 3.5 inches in length. Not that I'm telling you to carry this, but I'm just saying to you, this is a point tool, this is an edge tool. If you had something like even a small knife, small kitchen knife, small fruit knife for peeling an apple, you know, under UK law, that would be construed as illegal. But if you had a screwdriver in your work bag, if you had, you were assaulted in a workplace where there were such tools around, if you were eating in a restaurant where you had a knife and fork, if you had a nail that you could pick up off the floor, if you had a shard of wood, a shard of metal, or a hard shard of plastic that could have a point and an edge on it, that could be a makeshift tool of a kind. Another, looking now from point and edge to impact. How about a decent piece of oak? So this just picked up off the forest floor as it fell. Nothing done to it at all. Decent, hard piece of wood, right? What about a baseball bat, a lightweight aluminium baseball bat that you got in the back of your car because you played ball and you got a ball and a catch mitt? What about a chair leg, a table leg, a fence post? You smash a chair on the floor and pick up the table leg. Understand context dictates content. So imagine you found yourself in an active threat type of situation with some fucking lunatic with a machete who is just wailing at people. And no one's off limits. Your children, your babies, your wife, your daughter, your sister, women, men, elderly, all game in the minds of such lunatics, and you've got nothing but skin to protect yourself. Would it be useful if you knew how to smash that chair on the floor and pick up the chair leg and now use it as an impact tool? Would it be useful if you could pick up something that you could construe with a point and an edge that's not a weapon by design? In short, you should get learned in understanding how the tools that God give you work, so get good unarmed skills, and as I said before, you should learn how weapons work. You should train point and edge weapons by design. You should train blunt force trauma weapons by design in a training environment with proper training weapons and proper tuition and understanding. That you should do. Not telling anyone to carry anything that would be considered in this unlawful man-made legal system illegal. I'm not telling anyone to do that. I'm telling you to learn how weapons work. And then I'm telling you, learn how you could translate those things to an everyday item in your immediate vicinity. So there could be a chair, there could be a pallet, there could be a brick, there could be a soft garment that you could put a brick in, there you got a rock in a sock. There could be a jack handle, there could be a crowbar, there could be a bat in your car, there could be anything anywhere that you could immediately pick up, possibly, and use as an equalizer or a force multiplier if there was some intel available. So imagine a situation in Dublin, you've got the lunatic running around a shopping centre attacking children and women. Or imagine you could pull up a fence post. Imagine you could pick up and smash down a paving slab and use a piece of it. Imagine you could find half a brick. Imagine there was a broom, whatever else. So learn how to use such items. Get that kind of mind that sees weapon profile in most things. Make that a habitual habit. So the point of this is, let's look at just one item, right? So let's look at the broom handle. So this is a broom, right? Now they don't make brooms like this anymore. Good, solid, dark, hardwood. It's all soft wood shit now. But nonetheless, this is a broom handle. So a soft wood broom handle. So smashing off the broom part, you've now got a staff-like two-handed tool. If you break this in half or snap it in half, now you've got two sharp shards. Well, let's just take one of these as an example, right? So this is a commonly used in history prison tool weapon. So the mass murderer Jeffrey Dahmer was killed in a toilet with a mop handle, just like this. He was stabbed in the neck. But what I want you to look at is the weapon profile attributes of such a tool. How do you fend somebody off with a broom, you might say? Well, snap off the fucking handle and then snap it in half. Now, one side, you've got blunt force trauma. The other side, you've got a point and edge stabbing and raking tool, right? And learn how to use it. So, just from the perspective of having something about this length, which is about the length of a bat, right? With a bat in a two-handed structure like this, leaving 2 inches one side, a couple of inches the other side, if I throw a hook angled line or an elbow here with the end of the bat, I'm striking, if this bat was wood, with what's been referred to as a wooden elbow. Striking in this way with the end palm. I can do the same with the other palm. Right? So if you understand the body mechanics involved for any type of angular shot, be it a punch, be it a slap, be it a forearm, be it an elbow, it also applies to the end of something that you can hold with structural integrity with 2 hands. So this overhand, this angular elbow shot, followed by a thrust in the face, followed by a bar with the centre of the structure, followed by a two-handed shot with the bat in its conventional way, would be one example, right? And I can do that either side. Do that with the flat end, strike, hit it here, and then strike. Or I could do it with the handle end. Strike, strike, bar it, boom. We use this offensively this way. We could also use it counter-offensively. When we jam a thrust of a knife into the face, boom, then hit in the head. Get the idea. So I'm using a bat-like tool as an example. Very unlikely that a bat is going to fall from the sky in the moment that you need it, and you're not going to be walking down the street with a bat. But if you had said bat in your car with a catch mitt and a ball, and they see such a problem, then maybe, just maybe, under those circumstances, you could legitimately pick up that and intervene. But outside of that, let's say that there's something like that. Maybe a chair, you smash it on the floor, you use the chair leg, or a table leg. Use the chair itself. Get the idea of how common everyday items work, right? And a good place to start, just to get an understanding, is with some sort of broom handle or mop handle. Now, if you had a broom handle or a mop handle and you snapped it in two, and you've got a length of wood, sharpened one end and rounded the other end, and like I said, you've got blunt force trauma here, one end, right, that you can strike with, bar with, bend off with, and you've got a point and edge that you can rake and stab with the other side. Chances are you probably never thought that way, but if you are placed into a situation or put in a box that you pretty much can't get out of in terms of legally defending yourself from a level 10 threat, then I put it to you, you've got two choices. You can roll over and allow whatever's going to happen to you, or you can get fucking learned and stand up and do something about it, right? Now, I'm not telling anyone to carry any weapon that is against the unlawful laws. I'm not telling you to do that. We have to coexist and live in this broken system as best we can. You know, unless it becomes a point where we are without rule of law, we must abide by the fucked up system and rules. It doesn't apply to the armed criminal who will carry regardless. So in which case, I would say you need to get your unarmed skills up to an exceptional level, and you need to learn how to use anything around you. You know, if you pick up a fucking wine bowl out of a bin, you've got a bludgeon impact tool. It's unlikely to break, it's solid. But if it did break, you've got a jagged spear now with the broken glass. Know how shit works, right? So all I'm snatching out of the air is the example of a broom handle. You know, if I've got this in my hand, I can hit with it in a conventional sense as a stick, sure. I could stab with it like a spear. Imagine this was an umbrella. Imagine a long umbrella. Not necessarily one of those really, really strong, unbreakable ones, although they're very useful. Just a golfing umbrella. It would be enough to fend off and bar away somebody that's trying to stab me, possibly. And there's also a point here which you could rake across and thrust into your face. I was going to use a stun and run type of tactic. If I'm using any kind of intervention because I'm seeing somebody hurt, women and children or somebody else, then I'm going to use the tactic of rear ambush. I'm going to pick up something fucking heavy, and I'm not going to cave their fucking head from behind, or I'm going to stab them from behind with said tool, in this case, broom handle. Understand, context dictates content. So if you said to me, in my 24 years now, UC career, that in the first start of that 24 years ago, if you'd have said to me, in 10 years time, you're going to be teaching people how to rear ambush from behind. If you said to me, you're going to be teaching people how to take someone with a weapon as a hostage, I'd have said to you, get the fuck out of here. You're crazy. I'm one of the good guys. I'd never teach such criminal tactics. Now fast forward and understand the context. So imagine you walking down that shopping centre that day in Dublin when some fucking lunatic nutjob decides to start attacking women and children with a big fucking knife stroke machete. And you had the opportunity to pick up something, regardless of what it was, whether it was half a brick, whether it was a wine bottle out of the bin, or you pulled up a fence post, who the fuck knows? But let's say that you did, right? Well, your best chance would be to run up to him and fucking brain him straight away. And in fact, in such situations, you've heard such heroics take place. I do believe in one incident, it might have even been that incident, a man ran in with a crash on it and beat him round the back of the fucking head with it. This is the idea. You need to develop that understanding of what you can use to hand, what the possible medical implications of it are when you use it, and how best to use it in terms of tactic. So just as one example, any stick-like structure, be it an umbrella, be it a broom handle that's been broken in half or is still intact, be it a piece of wood that you picked up from the forest floor, be it a bat by design, anything that is in your immediate environment. Like I said, unlikely a bat's going to be in your immediate environment. If I'm driving past a shopping centre and I see somebody by an outside cafe attacking women and children willy-nilly, well, I know that there's chairs, I know that there's bottles, I know that there's stuff that I could use to projectile, I know that there's stuff that I could use as a barrier, I know that there's stuff that I could use to stab or pierce with, and I know that there's stuff that I could use as blunt force trauma-inducing tools. So my advice to you would be, in a country where you are absolutely stifled, as part of an agenda to keep you and yours safe, learn how to use what's around you, right? So lesson for today with a broken broom handle. You've got a broken broom handle, like I said, 2 hands, you can rake it across and stab with it. You can smash it across and smash with it. You can bar with it. You can take it 2-handed and strike with it. Learn this shit. If you are forced into a situation where no one's coming to help you, you're fucked over if you carry anything for the purpose of your own self-preservation. And like I said, you've got 2 choices. You can roll over and allow what's going to happen to you, or you can find other means to do something about it. Food for thought.